Good evening, everyone. My name is Brittany McCrae, and I'm an admissions counselor here at Meredith College. We are delighted to have you all with us tonight. By attending this webinar, you all have one important thing in common. You identify as a first generation college student. We recognize the many misconceptions about first gen. However, research has shown us that not only are first generation students exceptionally diverse, but first generation students also provide a rich experience to campus communities and are deeply committed to academic excellence. So here at Meredith College, identifying as first gen is something to be celebrated. This is an exciting time for you and your family. Tonight, we want to help you and your family better understand the resources available at Meredith College to contribute to your transition. Transitioning to college is one of the biggest decisions in a lifetime, and sometimes first generation students may have more of a difficult transition. We want you to be aware of and take advantage of all the resources available here at Meredith College. Simply put, each one of you here are incredibly gifted students. So tonight, our goal is to help elevate your knowledge of the support system available at Meredith. Tonight, you will hear more about strong points, first year experience, residence life, and student leadership and service. You will also get to hear from a current Meredith student. So students, please type any questions you have into the Q&A box throughout the presentations, and we will do our best to get them all answered before the end. I will now turn the presentation over to Candace Webb, Director of Strong Points.
Good evening, everyone. I'm really happy to be here with you. I myself am a first generation college student, so I'm really excited to be able to talk with you tonight and share some resources that Meredith can offer you. I'm going to be talking with you specifically about strong points. Now, I'm sure as students who've been admitted to Meredith, you have heard of strong points, but I'm going to give you a little bit of information that maybe you haven't heard about strong points and how students take advantage of this resource. So Strong Points is unique to Meredith. No one else is doing Strong Points. It's all ours. And we like to talk about Strong Points as a comprehensive advising and coaching model. We call it comprehensive because it really covers your entire experience. So it's not just focused on what it's like to be in class, or it's not just focused on what your career options are. It's focused on your entire experience. And I'm going to talk to you really briefly in a little bit about each of those four pillars. But the four pillars of Strong Points are academic, experiential, financial, and career. We call it advising and coaching because faculty and staff around campus are helping you through this process. They're helping you make plans around your academic success and around all of the pillars of Strong Points. And we call it a model because it's a framework. So every student's going to have their own experience. Every student's going to need something different than the other students around them. But this is the framework that we use to ensure that students have the resources that they need to be successful at Meredith and beyond. At the root of it, Strong Points is really all about helping students make the most of their experience. So one thing that's really unique about our approach to student success at Meredith is that we focus on student strengths. So we make this Clifton Strengths Assessment available to all incoming students, and it helps you identify your top 5 strengths. And these are all the strengths that are included in the assessment. And then we take the information about your strengths, and faculty and staff want to work with you to really use your strengths to make good decisions while you're here. So let's bring it all together. So we've got the 4 pillars and we've got strengths. So how does it actually work? So you should know that Strong Points is not a separate program. It's not something that you have to register for or sign up to attend. It's really incorporated into your Meredith experience. So it's infused throughout your experience. And over the course of your time at Meredith, you're going to continue to understand and refine your understanding of your strengths, and you're going to put them to work around those 4 pillars. The first pillar is academic. So obviously we want to be sure that you have a good academic success skills, right? So that's study habits, that's time management. And you're also going to be working with faculty advisors. The picture you're looking at now is Cameron Johnson, who's a faculty member in art. And he's working with students around their schedules, helping them plan out the courses that they're going to take. And that's part of what you'll be learning to do when you're at Meredith. We're going to help you think about how your strengths can help you make academic decisions, how you can choose courses and majors that align with your strengths. The second pillar of strong points is experiential. So this really covers all the learning that happens outside of the classroom. So we're looking at the lacrosse team. Athletics is a great way to develop leadership and professional skills, but there are many ways to get involved on campus. And Katie from Student Leadership and Service is going to give you some more information about that later. But really the experiential pillar of strong points is all about helping you identify ways that you can be involved outside the classroom, whether that's athletics, traditions, clubs and organizations, study abroad, undergraduate research, the list goes on and on. But we want to be sure that you're experiencing all that the college has to offer. The third pillar of strong points is financial. So we want to be sure that the students who graduate from Meredith know how to make good financial decisions. So some students come and they say, financial resources, I don't have any financial resources. And maybe that's true, but eventually you will. So we want to be sure that you know how to manage those resources. So that's budgeting, that's credit, that's opening a checking account if you don't already have one. And then it's all the way to the end of your experience when you're really negotiating a salary, a salary that an employer is offering you and everything in between. So we want to be sure that you have a good handle on financial management so that you can make good intentional financial decisions. And then finally, the fourth pillar of strong points is career. So once you graduate, you're going to go out into the job market and you're going to go get that career that you want. Now, some students come to Meredith knowing exactly what career they want, and that's great. And we work with those students to help make sure they're lining up their experiences so they're ready for that job. And other students are more curious about what career options they might pursue. And so they don't really know what they want to do. And we can work with those students too to really help them explore their interests, see what options are out there and might be a good fit for them. Throughout all four pillars of strong points, we really want you to think about how your strengths can be played out in these decisions. How can they help you make the best decisions for yourself? So we talk about strong points as this comprehensive advising and coaching model that's really focused on your strengths. I've done a little bit of talking about it. If there's more information that you want to know, you can always go to meredith.edu/strongpoints. And please do feel free to ask some questions for me in the Q&A and I'll see if I can answer them for you at the end. At this point, I'm going to turn things over to Holly Weekland, who's the co-director for First Year Experience.
Sure, I unmute myself. Hi, everyone. My name is Holly Weekland. I'm the co-director of First Year Experience. I'm going to share my screen with y'all real quick. Okay, so, sorry. So a little bit about us. Our office is housed under the Office of Dean of Students, which is on the second floor of our Student Center. Our mission is to offer support services and programs to meet the needs of the whole student, addressing the academic, the social, the emotional, physical, and spiritual aspects. Sorry, that's my son. Aspects of the first year student development. So we have a lot of programs and services that we provide that we get really excited about. The biggie is new student orientation, which is something that I plan. So new student orientation is a multi-day event. It's right before the start of classes, and it's just it's a series of events where we welcome new students to Meredith. We offer them the opportunity to become familiar with campus through educational programming and access to campus resources. We have some social events. Students have the opportunity to meet with their faculty advisor. And so, sorry, everyone. So yeah, it's a great series of events. All of our students come, their parents come the first day when they move into the residence hall if they're living on campus. So again, this is something that we have in the fall. Also, our student advisor program they're upper class students that, sorry everyone. This is like that YouTube video that was going around, crying children. Okay, so our student advisor program, they're our upper class students. They serve as student advisors and they assist our first year and transfer students in orientation. They guide them through the orientation programs, and then they continue on in the roles, and they're meeting with their groups once a month, and various connections, talking about lots of different things. So they are there for their first year student group their entire first year. Our first year experience course, many of us that are represented here are teachers of a section of the first year experience course. This is a 1-credit course that students can take that help first year students make a successful transition to college. We touch on a lot of things that Candace already talked about. We learn more about their strengths, do some activities around those, talk about financial literacy, study skills, time management, how to get involved on campus, and a lot more. Some other programs that we offer, a summer reading program. Each year we have a committee that selects a different book that all of the first year students and faculty and staff read together. And we get together to talk about the book in the first month of school. Usually we have some large presentation or lecture that shares, either the author of the book or someone that can shed more information on what the book is talking about. So this is just a shared intellectual endeavor that we all partake in. We've had some really great books in the past. We had a book, our most recent, some of our recent picks were a book about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, mainly because Justice Ginsburg came to Raleigh, and all of us Meredith faculty and staff got to go a few years ago. That was wonderful. So this is a great program that we offer that we get really excited about. Discovery sessions are different workshops and seminars on pertinent issues that first year students face. There are 2 to 3 of them in the fall semester. That all first year students attend. And the Fire and Water Dinner is one of my most favorite traditions. This is an end of year dinner celebration that's coordinated for the first year students, and it just it celebrates their successful transition to college. First year students can get involved and plan this dinner for their peers by serving in the Fire and Water Committee, and puts on this event for their class. So a little bit more about the first year experience course. Over 90% of our incoming freshman class each year enrolls in this course. And so I talked about it a little bit, but we really talk about academic skills, strategies, how to support our students through their academics, kind of transition to the college level academics and how to acquaint yourself with that. We do a lot of activities around our own strengths and how to talk about those to better manage their personal growth and development. We talk a lot about campus community resources, how to get involved on campus, and all the resources available to them in the Triangle area. And by the end, they'll also understand and appreciate the role that service learning and ethical citizenship plays into their college education. So yeah, that's a little bit about us. We're basically here to serve the incoming freshman class and our transfer students and provide them the support that they need as they transition to college. So with that, I will transition to my colleague Heidi, the Director of Residence Life.
Thank you, Holly, so much. Welcome everyone, as folks have said, and I am Heidi. I'm the Director of Residence Life, and I'm going to, I have a few slides as well. So in Residence Life, I do want to talk a little bit about the structure of the staff. So the first is the Residence Life full-time staff. And as I mentioned, there's a director, which is me. This is my 21st year at Meredith College. So I've seen a lot of changes over the years, which has been exciting. We do have an administrative assistant, and her name is Donna. Donna's daughter graduated from Meredith. So it's really kind of cool to hear Donna talking to parents, because she can, give them advice and feedback about, well, when my daughter was a student, this is how she kind of handled something or managed it. So that's kind of interesting that, incoming parents can talk to Donna as a parent as well. And then we have residence directors. They are full-time college staff. They live in apartments within the residence halls. And then I have their names here. We have Alejandra. She oversees the 2 upper class residence halls, Van and Brewer. And then the other 3 oversee freshman buildings. which Heather's in Faircloth, Tish is in Petite, and Jessica's in Howman. And then also we have apartments on campus called the Oaks, and those are for junior and senior students. And Caitlin is the apartment manager and she oversees that building. Then we have student staff, and I know Candace spoke a little bit about experiential, and this is another way that students can get experiential experience at Meredith is by working for Residence Life. And so we have resident assistants, we call them RAs. They are students who apply and are hired to fill these positions. So this is a student worker position, obviously a little more unique than working in an office. But it is, they go through the application, a process, and get interviewed and then are hired. In the residence halls, both upper class and freshman halls, there's one RA per residence hall floor. And that person will provide support to residents. They'll do programs, they serve as a resource. And of course, this year, they've been very creative in how they connect their residents with one another, how they're connecting the community. They're doing a lot of like grab and go programs where you might be able to stop by their room and pick up a craft kit, and then they'll, log into Zoom and they'll work together. They've been having some virtual game nights and different things like that. So although we are in a much more virtual world this year, the job of the RA has not lessened. And the other thing is they provide support to residents, and they serve as a resource, which I'll talk about in the next slide. And then we also have Oaks community assistants. So they are, again, living in the Oaks. Their job is a little bit different than the resident assistant because they're really there to, build the community in the apartments. They're not as involved day to day with residents. And again, they serve as a resource. So supporting residents, I think this is really important for anyone to understand how Residence Life is involved with supporting students who live on campus. One of the biggest things we do is try to build community. We have the freshman residence halls, and we have the freshmen live together because they're all coming to Meredith at the same time and kind of having the same growing pains. And so we are able to do some programming and some really pointed things for freshmen because they're all living in certain residence halls. The Residence Life staff are trained in campus resources. We, during our training period and even throughout the year, we talk about the health center and the counseling center and campus police and the career center and strong points, so that a student can come to her RA and ask a question, and the RA should know what direction to point her in. We also train in conflict resolution and mediation. There are times, as you can imagine, that roommates might, come to a little sticking point and might need a little help having a conversation. And so the resident assistants or the resident instructors are able to help kind of manage that conversation. And then back to the programming. So, really offering things for the population. What do the students want to see? And what can the RAs bring to the floor? And then the Residence Life staff, we do work closely with several offices on campus. I really see them as partners to us. We interface with these offices almost daily. Campus police, obviously we want our campus to be safe, so we work very closely with them. Facility services, if the light bulb is burned out or a window gets broken, we want to make sure that we're letting facility services know. Students can do their own work orders, so they can alert the staff to something needs attention in their room. But again, making sure that our residence halls are safe and secure and clean is all very important, and that's the facility services staff. The counseling center and health center, those are two confidential resources on campus for students. So if students are experiencing any mental health concerns or any personal health concerns, we want to make sure that the residents understand where to go and how to make an appointment or how to reach the staff. So again, we work very closely with those two offices. And then the rest of the Dean of Student staff. So Holly and I are on the same staff team. There's a few other folks, and we work well together, and we really, talk about freshman needs and how can we be as supportive as possible to incoming students and through their freshman year. And then just a couple things of where to learn more. We do have quite a bit of information on our Residence Life webpage on the Meredith College website. That was revamped about 1.5 years ago, and there's a lot more information, a lot more pictures because students really wanted that. There is a Residence Life 360-degree tour that is available through admissions, or if you want to email us, I can send the link. And then also just contact us. And we have a departmental email address, which is reslife@meredith.edu. We get all kinds of questions and all kinds of concerns, and we will respond as quickly as we can. It is a departmental email address, so it is not typically checked over the weekend, but we would respond back on Monday then. And reslife@meredith.edu is actually me. So if you do have questions, like, you think, oh, I need to talk to the director, then that is the appropriate email address to use. So with that very brief overview of Residence Life, I would like to turn it over to my colleague in Student Leadership and Service, Katie.
Thanks, Heidi. Hi, everyone. It's great to see you. Thanks for joining us tonight. As Heidi mentioned, my name is Katie McAnulty, and I'm coming from the Office of Student Leadership and Service. So let me hop over. I want to share some key points with you. The Office of Student Leadership and Service helps you to explore areas of student life at Meredith. So the main areas through our office and resources that we support students in are finding ways to engage in on-campus student life, serving the local community, and refining your leadership skills. So Candace started the webinar off by talking about the Strong Points program and emphasizing one of the 4 pillars, that's experiential learning. And so all of the components and resources or programs offered through Student Leadership and Service fall under that experiential learning component. And these out-of-class co-curricular experiences we provide will help you grow both personally and professionally while you're at Meredith. So let's talk about, why are co-curricular experiences important, those out-of-class experiences. Research has shown that students who are involved on campus throughout their college time are not only more likely to succeed while in college, but they're also more likely to persist to graduation. And a lot of that comes from the connections you make from being involved. So you grow a greater network of support with peers and peer students, faculty, and staff. But also you're exposed to so much more information through that co-curricular learning. And so you get a richer, a deeper experience. The other thing I want to share with you, just in terms of a research standpoint, is that in studies, survey studies done of employers nationwide, top skills that employers are looking for in college graduates are often skills that are refined through co-curricular experiences. So let me share a few of those with you. There are skills like communication skills and teamwork, leadership, strong work ethics, and problem solving. So things that you, through even your time in high school, have been growing and refining, but through your co-curricular experiences in college, we want to help you refine those even more so you're ready to launch your career and profession after college. So let's take a deeper look into what programs we offer and how you can help grow these skills we're talking about. So within the Engage branch of our office, we provide resources and programs such as campus activities and social events. So campus activities and socials include campus concerts and festival events, movie nights, or cooking demonstrations. Purely social opportunities for you to connect with peer students at Meredith and help foster your network in your community and just have some fun outside of the classroom. So you can get involved by either attending these events or planning them. Most of them are student-led. The second piece is campus-wide or class traditions. These are experiences that are unique to Meredith, and they celebrate a milestone in your college experience, or they work to build unity and community amongst either you and your classmates or the entire Meredith student body. So some traditions that you're likely familiar with or have heard of along the way are Meredith's Cornhuskin campus-wide tradition that's hosted every fall, or class traditions like Charming Evening, Fire and Water Dinner, Ring Dinner, Senior Family Night, and more. Lastly, student organizations. We encourage you to get involved in some of our over 100 student organizations at Meredith. I encourage you to explore organizations that both align with your current interest, something you already love doing and want to continue. Perhaps a club that aligns with your academic interest. Maybe it's a great opportunity for you to network with other people in your college major, or hear from guest speakers through that club and in that industry you're studying. Or explore clubs of hobbies that you just want to learn more about, something totally new that will help you expand your horizons. So to learn more about Meredith's clubs, I'd encourage you, even now as a prospective student, to explore our MC Connect student involvement website. And on the screen here, you can see a brief snapshot that shows the MC Connect website and all of the student organization sites on the page. To navigate to MC Connect, you can see here, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but online, just go to meredith.presence.io. There again, you can browse all the available student organizations and websites. While you're a student at Meredith, you can also choose to propose a new club and start one while you're here. The next branch of the Office of Student Leadership and Service is SERVE. We coordinate on and off campus service projects and provide advising for both students individually and clubs for service initiatives. So this includes donation drives, service projects on or off campus, and volunteering in the community. In addition, if you have an idea, a service initiative idea, but don't have funding for it, we have funding resources available through a service mini grant that you can apply to. The last branch of our office is LEAD, and this is how you can refine your leadership skills and be a more polished professional. So we offer a great number of campus leadership positions. So this includes through opportunities through campus clubs, such as I mentioned, or even class organizations, like serving as an executive officer for the freshman class, or even the Student Government Association. There are also several leadership programs and training opportunities. Some of them you can see mentioned here. Those include the Emerging Leaders Seminar, the Leadership Institute, an Ethics Bowl team that competes every year, speaker workshops and conference opportunities. So there are a good amount of either one-time opportunities or reoccurring opportunities to participate in. And lastly, I want to share with you a few key things to know as you're coming into college at Meredith. First, just remember that SLS is a great place to get involved in campus life, to serve the community, and work to refine and grow your leadership skills. And then the other things I want to make sure that you know going in, Meredith's student body has a significant class affiliation, a mantra, and so all students choose to affiliate with a certain academic class year. So for example, the current graduating senior class, who's graduating this May 2021, is the class of 2021, they're seniors. You as an incoming student to Meredith would be a first-year student, freshman next year, and you'd be part of the class of 2025. So this class affiliation is unlike other colleges, but it's a great way to get to know other students in your class year. So just know that there's significant class affiliation and community within each class. The Big Sister, Little Sister program is another opportunity, optional opportunity that you can get involved in to become connected on campus. This is a program in which underclass, first or sophomore, second year students can be paired with an upper class student, a junior or senior. And that junior or senior offers volunteers to serve as a peer resource and mentor to the younger student, just in helping them get involved and transitioned successfully onto campus. So this program is optional. It's a one-on-one paired relationship based on your common interest in areas in which you'd like to be paired with. And so if you're interested in this program, consider enrolling. You'll get more information this summer and early next fall once you come onto campus and can enroll. This is in addition to the many other resources that have been mentioned today, including the student advisors through the first year experience office and the Res Life RA staff. So consider it as well. The last two things I just want to make you aware of are the campus welcome activities. There'll be many, many programs, social activities in August and September to get involved, meet other people, and become more familiar with Meredith's campus community. So I encourage you, watch out for those. And lastly, at the very start of the fall semester, our office will help the SGA Elections Board in hosting the freshman class elections. So if you're interested in serving in an officer position for your class, for the class of 2025, be sure to watch out for information about information sessions and how to run for an office. If you'd like more information, don't hesitate to reach out to our office, Student Leadership and Service. I'll share our contact information with you here if you'd like to take a screenshot, or you can ask a question in the Q&A. All right, I'm going to turn it over now to Anna, a current Meredith student, who's going to talk more about her experience at Meredith.
There we go. Thank you so much, Katie, for that wonderful introduction. So as Katie mentioned, my name is Anna Kassas. I am a current student here at Meredith. I'm a current junior. So I am class of 2022. I know Katie mentioned that we affiliate ourselves based on our classes. So I am class of 2022. And just like all of you guys here, I am a first generation college student. And from my experience being a first generation college student, when I was doing my college search and applying to colleges, specifically Meredith, it was really challenging and really stressful trying to figure out everything, trying to figure out exactly what I needed to do, how to fill out applications, how to figure out my financial aid. It was extremely difficult, not having like a backbone. And since I'm an only child, I didn't really have, anybody who actually went to college and did all the, experienced all the application processes before me. So one thing that I really did appreciate was my Meredith College admissions counselor. She was absolutely phenomenal. I really do encourage all of you to get in contact with your admissions counselor. They will answer every question, no matter how big or small, and they're so responsive. But when I first came to Meredith, again, it was stressful as a first generation college student, and knowing that I had an admissions counselor that made the entire college search and application process a little bit easier. There were still fears that I feel any first generation college student or any college student experiences. A lot of thoughts of, well, what school supplies do I need? Do I need to buy notebooks? What do I actually bring to college? Do I need to buy my textbooks now? How do I join organizations? How do I become a member or a part of the Meredith community? And I became suddenly so overwhelmed with all of these thoughts and processes because I'm a big planner. I like to plan everything and have everything nicely and organized, and I like to know what I'm coming into. However, there were so many on-campus offices that absolutely changed my experience and made the entire college experience so much more comfortable and stress-free and actually really exciting. And I'm going to give credit to Holly because she did a phenomenal job explaining the first year experience office and everything that they do to support first year students, because that was the one office that I credit a lot of my successes, my academic and my social success here on campus. As Holly had mentioned earlier, the first year experience program is designed to provide first year students a guide through their first year in college. And I know Holly touched on the first year experience course that freshmen get to take. So I got to take that class. Of course, every first year student has the opportunity to take the first year experience course, and it's only once a week. And it really does teach you everything about the Meredith community. It teaches you about the Meredith traditions, our history, but it also teaches you study tips, and it taught me financial tips, how to manage my money while I'm in college. And those are things that you don't really think about when you're a freshman, especially me. I had no idea what I was coming into. I had no idea. And so having that, those tips, that advice, and that support really did, set me up for the next 4 years. But they also, taught me how to maybe even balance, work study, how to balance having a part-time job and being a full-time student, which several of, my classmates do experience that and do have to take a part-time job. So like I said earlier, I credit a lot of the academic success that I have today to the first year experience program, because not only is it a program itself, but they also work in conjunction with academic advising. And during my first semester at Meredith, the academic advising office actually ended up helping me go ahead and set up my 4-year plan for my classes for college. And to me, that was so empowering. The fact that I could go ahead and plan the next 4 years. As I had mentioned earlier, I'm a big planner. So having that really reduced the tension of having to, stress out about, well, am I taking the right courses? And what exactly are credit hours? All of those questions and all of those worries were solved through the first year experience program. And I think the most significant thing that I learned was scheduling my classes, being able to have somebody, and keep in mind, this is all faculty or staff who are running these courses, who's running this program. And so they help you schedule your classes. They help you figure out, well, if you're going to work a part-time job, maybe you should, if you're going to work in the afternoons, try to take most of your classes in the morning, and then figure out if you want to do your homework at night, what days are you going to have days off. And so they really just kind of just help you, talk it through and work out all that method, which honestly has helped me because I've had a part-time job at Meredith for the past year, and it has made my life easier. I've been able to manage my time, my money, and my entire college experience a lot better. But I also mentioned earlier, I also attribute a lot of my social success to the first year experience office. They absolutely they've done a phenomenal job with their student advising program. I know Holly touched on it, and I know Katie did too, but the student advising program groups first year students. Listen to this. It groups you with other people in your class who are majoring in the same major or interested in majoring in the same major that you are. And you have a student advisor who's already in that program, who is typically an upperclassman and who has experience with, the program, with faculty and professors who are in that specific area of interest. And so my student advisor was actually so fun, so energetic. She actually even convinced me to be part of so many traditions here at Meredith, which I love today. And let me tell you, there's so many traditions. I promise you, you're always going to find something different or new or exciting or unique or something that you have always been interested in. You're going to find it here. You're going to definitely find it here. And so my student advisor definitely gave me that boost to step out of my comfort zone and join some traditions and other organizations here on campus. But besides that, she was also so supportive. She was my first friend here on campus. And anytime that I felt homesick, she always responded to my messages. She always responded to my phone calls. She even brought baked goods. So if it wasn't through the talking, it was through the eating that she was supporting you, which is absolutely great. But just in conclusion, the first year experience office has definitely made the entire from high school to college transition so much more smoother. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn to Carrington, who is going to facilitate our Q&A session.
Thank you, Anna. And thank you to all of our panelists. We learned some really great information there. I am an admission counselor here at Meredith. I'm going to facilitate your questions. So if you have any question, big or small, go ahead and put that right into our Q&A, and we will definitely get that answered for you. To start off, we have a question for Heidi, a little bit about housing. When will you find out where you're living? If you're living on campus, how can you figure out your roommate? Can you choose your own roommate? Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure, thank you, Carrington. So room assignments are typically sent out the first week of July. This past year, because of everything going on, they did go out a little later than we anticipated. But now that, we're back on track, we do, we would hope to get those out the first week of July. So that is about 6 weeks before the semester starts. And in the letter, we'll provide a roommate's information and then suite mates information as well, just so you can start communicating with those people, because you'll want to talk about what are you bringing to the room, is there going to be a theme for the bathroom because we're suite style, and different things like that. We also will provide information about move-in. I know Holly will also give some of that information through first year experience, but we'll talk about checking into the residence halls and things like that. Students can choose their own roommates. It does need to be mutual. So if it's a mutual, if I choose Holly and Holly chooses me, then the two of us would be paired together. Sometimes it's not mutual, and we will work very delicately through that situation, helping the students understand kind of what's going on and why they're not paired with somebody. And then I did mention suite. I should have put that on my slides. Meredith College is very unique in that most of our residence halls are situated as suites. So there's two double rooms. There's two double rooms that share a bathroom. So there could be 2 students in one room, 2 students in the other, and they share a bathroom between the rooms. Students are responsible for cleaning their own rooms and their own bathrooms. That's also typically another question I get when I talk about the suites. But yeah, that's kind of the lowdown. There is an electronic housing request form. We did go electronic last year. It works really well. We're really happy with the results. So if you are interested in living on campus, you'll want to fill out the housing request form. It will be due, it's typically due June 1st, so that we have the month of June to make assignments and get everything ready to go out that first week of July. So that was, and if you do have other questions about Residence Life, of course, put them in the Q&A and I'll be happy to answer them.
Wonderful, thank you so much. So we have a question, I think probably for Holly and maybe Katie as well, about transferring in as an early college student. So you're coming in and you have the credits to be an academic junior, but you're still a first year student. And how do you make that transition? How do you fit in socially? Can you still get involved? We'd love to hear your thoughts on that. If you want to start off, Holly.
Yeah, sure. So that's a great question, because we have a lot of transfer students that come to Meredith. And so they're all put in groups with each other, with other transfers as well. And they're given a student advisor who we call a Wings and Transfer Advisor to lead them through orientation and their first year as well. And so a lot of times our transfer students befriend other transfer students in their groups, or the ones that they meet at orientation. And then transfer students, they dive right into student involvement too. They get involved, they attend events. As Katie mentioned, along with orientation, we have so many events that we have happening in August and September to introduce students to campus. And so whether it be your major that you've already decided on. You just kind of choose what you want to be involved in. If you want to join an academic, honor society or service organization, there are tons of ways to get involved. But your first group of students that you'll be able to meet and befriend and get to know will likely be other transfer students in your group during orientation. And so that is a great first kind of resource for you. In your wings and we have some WTAs that were transfer students, and they're really passionate about their role and how they serve other transfer students, and understanding that kind of sometimes it can feel weird because you have enough credits to be a sophomore or a junior, but you're still kind of behind other students because, just transferring from a different school, or like depending on where you transferred from, it could be a much different experience than Meredith was. So they are a great resource, a wonderful mentor for you in those first few months. Katie, do you have anything to add?
I would echo exactly what Holly said. So as Holly mentioned, during orientation, you will get involved in your student advisor group, an upper class student who will support you during that orientation period. If you're living on campus, rely on your RA to get to know and build a relationship with that RA, as well as other residents living on your hall. If you're a commuter student, be sure to get involved in the Association of Meredith Commuters, which is an on-campus student organization. So I would encourage you, no matter what type of student you are, find ways to connect with other people. Most new students are looking to make that friendship and those connections. So don't feel like your credit hours differing creates any sort of barrier at all. Many students who transfer in with or enter Meredith as let's say a first year student, but maybe have sophomore or junior credits, they still see themselves sometimes as, let's say, socially affiliating with that freshman class, so the class of 2025, because it's who they experienced orientation with and who they were living in the res halls with, or taking your first year experience class with. So in terms of class affiliation, we see a lot of students, if their academic credit hour number differs than perhaps the class they socially affiliate with, it is okay, and you can choose which class you socially affiliate with for class traditions. One last thing I do want to add is, for anyone who does anticipate they're graduating from Meredith in less than 4 years, we would encourage you, if you'd like to, experience all of the class traditions. The class traditions are typically formatted, so certain ones you experience during a certain year in your time at Meredith. So if you see you're more on a fast track, talk with our SLS office staff so we can make sure, if you're interested, you can experience all of the traditions.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That was great information. So we have another question about parking on campus. Can you have a car? Is there another way to get around campus if you can't have a car as a first year student, or to get around the Raleigh community? I think all of you could probably answer this, but if there's anyone that wants to take a shot at it, go right ahead.
I can speak for residents. Well, I can parking. So there's plenty of parking on campus. So freshmen are permitted to have cars. Everyone's permitted to have a car. There is a parking decal that is required, and that is purchased through campus police, the parking offices in the campus police office. And the nice thing for your parking pass, and for actually quite a few things at Meredith, it's added to your student account, so you don't have to maybe have money to put, out of your pocket. So like if you have a parking sticker and you have other things, some of your if you have financial aid, it'll cover that. So that's something that's really nice, that you don't have to, oh, it's a $200 parking pass, I have to go to campus police with a $200 check. It's just added to your student account. And there are buses, students, I know, I don't want to misspeak for this year, but I know in the past students have been able to pick up a Raleigh bus pass through Human Resources. And there's a bus stop on the front of campus, there's a bus stop on the back of campus. And we have students who work like at Crabtree Valley Mall who take the bus to work. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities. And the other really cool thing is, even as a Meredith student, our students can actually take the Wolf Line, which is the NC State bus system. So if a student needs to go down Hillsborough Street or wants to go visit their friends at State or has a class at State, they can take the Wolf Line over to the NC State campus. So there's plenty of options. And of course, there's also Uber and Lyft and other taxi services that are available to our students on campus.
Wonderful. So I have another question kind of about orientation. For freshmen, when do you choose your classes and how exactly does that work? Holly, if you want to take that one.
Yeah, I'd be happy to answer that. So that's a really good question. So one big thing that's going to happen if you choose to attend Meredith is that there's a kind of a pre-orientation program in the summer called Start Strong. And during that event, you will meet with you'll meet with academic advising and give them some information on some different core, like, how do I explain this so it's not confusing? You'll give them some general information about the courses you took in high school so they can place you in the correct math class, in the correct English class, if you're pursuing a foreign language, things like that. So some basic pieces of information they'll need to know to coordinate your schedule. And then actually academic advising will set your schedule for you for the fall semester. So that is maybe a little bit different. You'll declare a major if you have a major set. If you haven't declared, if you're not sure what you want to major in, that is okay. No rush. You have plenty of time to figure it out. If you're sitting there being like, I don't know what I want to major in, I don't know what I'm going to do, it's okay. When I entered college, I was undeclared also, and I ended up changing my major twice. And so it is okay, but what'll happen is they will coordinate your classes and then you'll get your schedule, I believe, at the end of July for your classes. And then as part of the first year experience course, we teach all the students on how to schedule their classes themselves for the spring semester. So how it works is your first semester of college will always, for our incoming students, their schedules are always put together for them. And from then on, students schedule their own classes, register themselves for their own classes for the rest of the time they're at Meredith. So I hope that makes sense. So basically, if you will get more information from Meredith about registering for Start Strong, and that is when you I would say it's a pre-orientation program, but it's very academic in nature. So it's all about your academics and what you think you're going to do, and kind of starting to kind of put those ideas and in your head of how you're going to spend your time at Meredith. So I hope that answers your question.
Wonderful. So we have a question for Candace about just in general support systems on campus. What kinds of support systems are available for students their first semester at Meredith?
Great question. So I think one of the things you're going to find about Meredith is that wherever you go with whatever question you have, if you're in the wrong place, we'll get you where you need to go. So there are many offices on campus that can sort of serve as your first stop. I would say the Dean of Students office is a great resource. If you need help with basically anything, if you kind of find your way to the second floor of the Student Center, the staff in the Dean of Students office will really find out what it is you need and help you get to the right person. I think one of the other resources that you're really going to want to take advantage of, you heard Anna talk about academic advising, and I think that's a really great resource for your first semester. Some students are like Anna and they want to have a plan, and academic advising is going to sit down with them and really help them work through it. And other students are really just exploring and they just want to get a better grip on what's general education, what are my options, if I decide on this major, what's that going to mean, can I minor? So they're really a great resource to really help you think through that. And of course, the Strong Points office is going to be a really great resource for you. Holly mentioned the Start Strong event. That's the pre-orientation event, and it's focused on academics, but that's also the time that you're going to get to take the Clifton Strengths Assessment, where you'll find out what your top 5 strengths are. And so the Strong Point staff is another one of those kind of one-stop shops that can connect you with other resources around campus. So those are a few resources that we hope you'll take advantage of, but I think you'll meet so many staff around campus, and whoever you meet and make a connection with, they'll connect you with where you need to be.
Absolutely, that is definitely true. I think we have time for one last question for Heidi, which is, are there single rooms in the dorms?
Yeah, so thanks for asking that. So for this year, the short answer is yes, we do have, we call them private rooms in the residence halls. And a private room is a room that one student will rent by herself. And there is a private room fee of $750 per semester, which is extra above room and board. For this year, because of the pandemic, the college did allow students who wanted to have a private room to have one without having the additional cost. And that really has helped mitigate risk on campus for us. It's de-densified our residence halls, and you know, unlike other schools around us who sent their students home from the residence halls, we did remain on campus. And you know, we're hoping for the same for this semester. You know, everyone kind of knows how to stay safe, and I'll say kind of knows the drill. And you know, we're really hoping that everyone will do their part in keeping our community safe. I do not have information yet about next year. This year also, we allowed freshmen to live off campus. We typically have a 2-year residency requirement. So there were some modifications to our policies this year. And I am starting the conversation with my supervisor and my vice president in about a week or so to really see how the college is going to proceed for next year. So it will be important. I did already get a question from an incoming student about, you know, any changes or modifications for next year. And I did let the student know, once we know some information, obviously I'll work with current students to let them know, but I'll work with admissions staff to make sure all incoming students or those admitted know that there might be some modifications for next year. But in a nutshell, we do have rooms, students can rent a room by themselves with the private room fee. And that is on a space available basis.
Perfect. Well, thank you all so much for participating. Thank you to our students who joined us today. I know we didn't get to every question, so I'm just going to reiterate that you should absolutely reach out to your admission counselor. They would be more than happy to chat with you about all these kind of things and more. And with that, I'll turn you back to Brittany.
Thank you, Carrington. Thank you to all of our panelists this evening. Students, thank you for joining us this evening. Here at Meredith College, we are deeply committed to the excellence of all of our students. But as a first-generation student, your overall success is important to us. So we wish to continue highlighting the many diverse layers of our community, and we hope that by attending this webinar, that you feel even greater confidence moving forward in your Meredith College transition. Students, like we've been saying, if you have any questions about anything you've heard tonight, please be sure to reach out to your admissions counselor and she will work with you. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Take care.